Hi, this is Majinoni, and I got another haunted house review for you. A couple days ago, my friend and I went to a place called Chamber of Fear. Now, this is located on 1134 West Bell Road in Surprise. And here's the website for you guys. Now, Chambers of Fear had this reputation of being really scary. So, after going to the 13th floor in Panic Park, we were ready to visit the chambers. Now, overall, Chambers of Fear, it's basically you have a main attraction, and once you exit that, there's two other smaller ones. The first is like a darkened room, basically, but it's very large, and the third is, I guess you could say, hillbilly, redneck cannibals. Now, before we even went in there was a group of people, one guy and some girls, and they were ribbing her pretty good about what to expect of Chamber, and I joined in on that. And the group went in right before us, and the door closed, so to speak, and you hear this there was like a recording message, and the girl left. Before they even went into the actual chamber, she left. She was freaked. So my friend and I, we were like, okay, this is already a very good thing, because we never see anything like this. That first part must be really scary. Now, the first part, it's basically just designed to say, here are the rules, to make sure that you know them. And then the adventure begins. Now, I'm not going to spill all the beans on what's going on inside, so I don't want to ruin all of your fun, but I can say this. I thought overall they had some really good scares inside there. A couple things that were just totally freaked me out. And it's mostly because of the surprise factor. You didn't expect it to happen. Now, overall though, while I thought they did have some good scares along the way, I thought the production value wasn't as good as the 13th floor. That, to me, was part of the weakest parts. There were a couple moments, like there's like this demonic area where a demonic cult, and they had a pretty good setup, but then it kind of fell through once you got into it. Now, when I'm looking at the setup, though, even though I'm saying it looked pretty decent, it could have been a little bit better along the way. And there's other it's like the little things, like especially on the walls, like they have like an Egyptian section, and that wasn't as strong as I would have liked it to have been, especially since it's Egyptian and you can do a lot of things with it. It just kind of like they just did the bare minimum, and they were hoping that the people would scare you. Now, once you get through there, it goes to an outside portion a little bit, and then you go to the dark room. The dark room is by far better than the nest. With the nest, what they do is the nest is completely dark, and it's basically a maze that goes zigzag, zigzag, back, forward, and it's way too long. And the problem with the nest is congestion. People move too slow inside there, and it doesn't matter how far they space them out, you're always going to run into somebody. With Chambers, they put you in through the group. You have to put your hands on the person's shoulders ahead of you, and you go in. It's a lot wider space as you're walking, so you can't really hug, or not hug, but you can't put both arms out and touch the sides. The scares inside there, I thought, were a lot better, just because they actually could do stuff. There's space to maneuver. The people ahead of us, we saw them when we came out, and they said that, well, at least the guy's problem was that he claimed that the timing was off when they were trying to scare them, but for us, the timing was dead on. There was two people ahead of us, and they nailed them every single time perfectly. And the girl was afraid, really terrified, and the guy, he tried to act tough, but he wasn't. He was scared because he didn't want to go first, type thing. And he's like, well, I'm going to beat them up if I go first. And we're like, yeah, shut up, just go. And so we had fun watching this whole procedure, this trip thing. Now, the redneck zombies part, for us, was a little bit confusing, because when you go in, you see all these toxic barrels. There's a guy in a hazmat type suit. He's like, hey, this is your last warning. You can't go in there. And so our initial impression was going to be there are going to be zombies. What's going on? You know, considering we didn't know what that third part was going to be ahead of time. So when we got in there, we discovered that it was the redneck cannibals. Now, redneck cannibals don't scare me at all. Now, in movies they scare me because they do them very well in the movies, but in haunted houses they don't, because there's a line that they can't cross. And that's the problem. You know that they can't cross it. One thing I will say is these redneck zombies were 100 times better than Panic Park. They were a lot more engaging. Some of them were entertaining, in that, I don't mean entertaining like, you know, they actually had something funny to say, but what they did was they were interactive. They would come up to you, they would have conversations with you, they'd stay in character. It's that kind of a thing. And I really appreciated that. I thought that was a lot of positive. The drawback I had was because it's outside, it basically was you just were walking on the concrete and you had like these walls that just made you go back and forth, and there wasn't the illusion of the cannibalism. Like for an example, Panic Park, while I didn't really like it, it had good moments in that part because of the fact you had dirt and like you had graves, you had things like that, and it had they were at least attempting to put you into a situation. But Chambers of Fear, you couldn't. For me at least, you didn't have that illusion any longer because you can see the draping, and it just kind of, they need to cover some of that stuff up and then build on the illusion more, and then I think it'll be better. The ending to the cannibal part I thought was weak. I'm not going to spoil it, but I will say what they really need to do is they need to put something in front of you as you're coming out, because when they come out from the back, we see the exit and we just keep walking. It really wasn't scary at all. And I mean, while I'm not scared by it, what I can judge it by is the people in front of me. They were scared through Chamber of Fear, and they were scared through the dark room. When they hit the cannibal part, they weren't scared at all. And the end part, which normally is your payoff, they just kept walking, and they're like, yeah, just keep doing that. It doesn't affect me. So that's why I know that wasn't that strong. Overall, I think, while your mileage may vary, I think if you are scared easily by haunted houses, I think you could enjoy Chambers of Fear. I would consider it around an average. Some weak, and that weak part lower it a little bit from the good. If they increase the production value, they're just so close to becoming a fantastic establishment, a fantastic scare. I also think that while there's some actors in there who did a good job, others weren't really that interesting or scary. Like the cannibal part, those guys were great. Inside the chamber, they weren't. You know, it was basically hit and miss. With the black room, there's not much I can say about those people in there. They did what they needed to do, and they kept. I mean, they did startle people, so they did what they had to. But in that situation, there's no illusion of scare, like building up. Well, what I mean by that is building up fear in terms of what you see, and giving you an illusion of you're actually in this environment. So you could not get that in that department or in that section. But overall, it's a decent haunted house. It's a bit far, but if you enjoy haunted houses, it's like I said, I think it's an average scare. I'm going to be doing a review on a Vegas haunted house that we went to called Gates of Hell. Watch for that video, because I'm telling you, this was the best haunted house I've been to. And you know, comparing, it just destroyed anything Arizona had. Everything Arizona has. And so watch for that. And I think there's coupons that you can get if you go to one of these attractions. So this way, if you go to the other ones, the Crypt or Monsterland, you can get some savings. Anyways, very important, Chamber of Fear does not accept credit card. So bring cash. They do have an ATM, but they're going to charge you $4 for it. So watch out for that. And when we went there, also there was I forgot the name, but it was some pizza place, and that was giving out some free samples, and somebody was giving psychic readings. So your mileage may vary on that if you go more closer to the holiday. Anyways, that's my review for Chambers. Any comments or questions, let me know. We're going to be going to probably Arizona Screen Park next, and I'm not sure where else we're going to go. But I'll have more reviews and stuff later, so watch for that. Like the Facebook link. Well, there's actually pictures of what Gates of Hell look like on the Facebook link. And more later, so until next time.